We are attempting to complete State of Decay 2 with the worst possible characters. Previously, we lost a stoner to a cold, and cheesed our way to multiple victories over the placards. We have 2 members left, one of which being Hunty Boy. He's doomed, eats a shit ton, and has had both his knees replaced. Then there's Fiddler, who also eats a shit ton, is a massive knobhead, and is decrepit. And I'd just like to take a quick moment to thank you all very much for the support on this series. And if this video gets 500 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll make episode 3 the next video I edit. Today we'll be attempting to recruit more terrible characters to our arsenal, as I also wish to move to a terrible base. But in order to do that, I'm probably gonna need some influence, so once I fixed up my pickup, I agreed to help Lily Ritter find her friend Ray Santos. How am I tired already? What the bloody hell? So I inhale some of Colombian's finest, no not that one, and hit the road. Unfortunately, Ray is nowhere to be found in his house, but I do find an abundance of angry notes complaining about unkept promises. It looks like this Raymundo Santos is a bit of a prick, but to be fair to the boy, it is the zombie apocalypse. You can't feed the world if your cupboards are bare. Lily suggests I check out another place nearby, and guess what? There he is.
Thought I had stashed some useful medicine here, but...
Yeah, right, listen mate, whatever. I'm searching your camp, which you're, quite clearly not living out of. He's like, any chance you mind giving me a lift to a nearby clinic? And I'm like, as long as you don't mind being in the back, because of stranger danger and all that. So I drift into the clinic's car park, and Ray is like, think we're gonna have to smash in some zombie skulls, bud. Yeah, but in all honesty, I'm the Doom one, so go on Ray, you got this, pal. I believe in you. I mean, he's got a terrible aim in all fairness. Come on Ray, you got this, bro. I believe in you. But in all honesty, him and his little pistol isn't doing wonders, so I decide to do a little bit of work. I rush over to the fruit stand opposite, claim it as an outpost, and set some incendiary... bollocks. Oh, I can't, I'm gonna have parts. So it looks like Ray is gonna have to do all the heavy lifting. Oh, come on, Ray, what is wrong with you, man? Once he beats off the strangers, I enter the clinic. Then Ray tells me he has some bad news.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's the big C.
Chlamydia? No, that would very much be the little c on your little d. Which means I've just been abusing a terminal cancer patient for the last 10 minutes. Not a great look. But hey, at least it goes with the whole terrible character aesthetic. And Hunty Boy's a bit of a prick too, I suppose. Continuing the theme of terrible person, I drain the cancer sufferer of all of his influence. Then choosing to ignore the fatigue that's slowly creeping in, I decide to take on the final player cart in Spencer's Mill. Although on the way I do get chased by a feral and decided it would be better to deal with him now rather than later. Oh no. Oh, I've lost my door again. No, bloaters! Why do I always end up in this kind of situation? It's okay, this is all part of my plan. Okay, I've lost another door, but it's alright, I know exactly what to do in this kind of situation. Deliver the hordes to a hostile enclave. I'm pretty certain they can't shoot me through the car, so, if anything, I'm pretty safe right now. I just had to open my big fat mouth, didn't I? Oh, no. Okay, good. And with a horde at their door, I leave the knobheads to be disemboweled in peace. I'm sure we'll never see them guys again. The play cart I'm targeting is only up the road, and after a strategic park, I barge my way in, but there's a few more in the building than I was expecting, so I escape and toss a fuel bomb over my shoulder. Remember, it's perfectly okay to burn first and ask questions later. I then let my stamina regain while stood on the pickup and down an energy drink. I then head back inside and pop one of my 2 smoke grenades, and under the cover of smoke, I batter the heart until it completes the first phase. As I retreat, I toss my second fuel bomb, although I'm pretty sure I hit a zombie square in the face. As I dash back to my car, I hear the unmistakable sound of the player cart phasing, so for those of you who can't count, we got one more phase left. So after spraying some buckshot into some crackheads, I dodge back in and get a couple more hits into the heart, but given the close proximity of all the dead knobheads, it's not enough to get the final kill. So I'm forced to retreat once again, although my energy drink has now run out, and my fatigue has hit a critical level. Well, it's a good job I have a little thing called automatic gunfire, baby. But you know me, I'm a greedy bastard, and I can't just leave all that loot behind, so I'm gonna lead the hordes on a little goose chase. Me and what's left of my lung capacity, that is. Feral rise, we're fucked, but until then, we live on. Surprisingly, this actually works pretty well, as by the time I loop back around, the hordes have completely dispersed, and my lungs have completely collapsed. But hey, whatever, I grab all the loot I can carry, then do a quick sing-songy lap around the grocery raiders. I belong West Virginia, country roads. And as I've now offended the entire musical community, it's time to head back home. But not before animal fact number 5. Did you know chinchillas are statistically the softest animal in the world? They're so soft, in fact, in the wild they've been witnessed to cry like a little bitch just because daddy bought them the wrong birthday present. Still much less pathetic than a panda though. So we get back, swap the fiddler, then head north, as there's once again another siege site in Big Daddy's auto repair. Jesus Christ, Big Daddy, you've had more dead men inside you than a female necrophile. file. Anyway, I one-shot the screamer, then head south to complete the second siege site. And once again, one shot deals with the screaming little prick. I then once again head back north, as apparently I have shares in BP all of a sudden. But this time it's not to pay a visit to Big Daddy, it's to assault more plague carts. You see, there's a landmark outpost in the most northernly west section of the map, and that's going to be crucial for my plan going forward. Unfortunately, we have a pretty big problem when we get there. Oh, fuck. But I simply refuse to retreat. I'll weaponize my arse like an overly aggressive bottom if I have to. Maximum speed, next to no effort. Oh, look at that! We smashed that, to be fair. And believe it or not, that really was my second hit. Look at that, look at that. My tactical intelligence knows no bounds, chat. Absolutely knows no bounds. I then circle back around and park strategically, then run in and pop my second smoke grenade. That allows me to complete the first phase with my heavy weapon, and I even managed to get a couple of shots off and ultimately complete the second phase just as the smoke starts to dissipate. So while the gases are spewing, I retreat to the roof of my car, where I safely deal with a crackhead, then jump back into action, seeing as we have the stim still active. Oh great, the stim's just run out. Of all the times to run out. So I pop my second set of pills and go back to battering. And ironically, I also get battered. But seeing as I'm heavily medicated, it's not long before I get the final kill. Fuck off! Honest to God. Those pricks who do the little fucking squirrely, like, as it goes round you, fuck off. Absolutely piss off. Not having it. Also, there's a feral nearby, so it's time to run. Although that attempt to flee doesn't go too well, as my bulky four-wheel drive pickup can't drive over some flimsy cool box. Honest to God, boys. Honest to fucking God. Not an ideal situation, is it, this? My attempts to unstick myself with the radio command ends with me getting ripped out of the car. Pricks! Pricks! The fucking lot of you! And with our decrepit individual having no lung capacity and zero narcotics, I fear the worst. My plan is to claim the research station as an outpost, then set the landmines. But seeing as the building is already occupied, that plan doesn't go very well. Rather foolishly, I tried to fight them, but the hordes burst through the door and I've got to get the hell out. I do a lap around the research center in the hope that I can lose them, but my ADHD brain kicks in and I've got to check out what's in that weapons case. You know what? That is actually a lot of zombies. I think it's best to check that out later. In the end, I decide the best way out is to limp back to my car, and disregarding the laws of physics plus a little can-do attitude gets me free. I then get my revenge on the hordes, which doesn't go as well as I'm gonna lead you to believe, but ultimately the final zombie falls and I claim the landmark station as my outpost. For a strategy, I obviously go with a biochem crafting, and now I'll be able to craft myself some bloater grenades. But more about them later. For now, I upgrade the command center so I can get another outpost, and seeing as that just used up the last of my building materials, I raid the rest of the area of all of its resources, including the plague cart I just destroyed. All of that looting grants me 3 sacks of building materials, but now I'm also low on meds as I use 2 of my final 3 to craft a plague cure. So I want to claim a medical outpost to gain a passive resource a day, but seeing as Ray, I'm afraid his terminal Santos, is basing in the only medical center that isn't in plague territory, it's time to tackle more plague carts. And now that I have bloater grenades, you'd assume this would be easy, right? Well, unluckily for me, but great for your entertainment, I'd like to go about things the hard way. You see, I don't have a reliable source of ignition as I have 1 firecracker and a couple of mollies, but using mollies can often result in the heart taking fire damage before explosive damage and rendering the entire thing an expensive waste of time. So the plan is to complete the first phase before dropping the firecrackers, which should last long enough to drop the gas grenades. I do complete the first phase, and just to be sure, I toss a molly for good measure, but during my escape I get hit and now I'm a literal ant stick away from becoming infected. Not great, as I literally have 1 cure and not enough meds to craft a second. But if I get back to base, I can use the infirmary's infection therapy to completely remove the infection bar for the cost of only 3 plague samples. The problem is I'm not one for retreating. I toss a bloater grenade, then the firecracker, which completes the second phase. I then complete the final phase with the sidearm I picked up from one of the plague carts. But I'm still in the same position. I can't use the car to escape due to the population issues, so me and decrepit molester go for a little jog. If you can call clutching at your ribs a jog, that is. So I climb onto a nearby caravan to hopefully allow the hordes to disperse. Then after spotting a suitable gap back to my car, it's back to clutching at my chest. And to think, it almost went perfectly. I could stand and fight, but with no stamina, I'm almost certain to take more damage. So I decide to stick with a well-timed dodge tactic. Fuck! So yeah, a blind man with no hands probably could have seen that one coming. But hey, I heal up, shoot a crackhead, then escape without losing my car. So overall, I'd say that's a solid 6 out of 10. Plenty of room for improvement, but slightly above average. Well, ain't that the story of my life? I can then take the long, treacherous journey back to HQ to drop off my building supplies, although the 17 building mats that's granted me isn't enough to build or upgrade anything. And with Hunty still being knackered, we basically immediately head straight back out with Fiddler. We head back in the direction we just came from, but unfortunately we have drawn the attention of a nearby horde. Then high on caffeine, I get that battering while using the narrow doorway to limit the amount of the undead that can get to me. Surprisingly, this works out well enough to complete the first phase. I then drop a molly but can't escape the kitchen fast enough, which causes some pretty severe burns. But luckily my idiocy also takes down the placard. I'm pretty sure that was the thingy stack glitch, but given my current situation, I'm taking it. Ah yes, gotta love the thingy stack glitch, or the damage multiplier glitch as most people would call it. Then in a death-defying display of arrogance, I run back in and steal all of its loot. And then I can finally head home to give Fiddler a rest. While I'm on my way, it's time for animal fact number 6. Did you know female dragonflies will often fake being dead to stop unwanted attention from male suitors? So ladies, next time a redditor slides into them DMs, it's time to fake a brain aneurysm. Anyway, Fiddler gets back to base, but Hunty Boy is still sleeping. Not great, especially as we have a wandering horde strolling past, which we have to deal with solo. Well, maybe not entirely solo, it seems Hunty is actually a pretty prolific sleepwalker. Anyway, the final zombie falls, and I force Hunty Boy out of bed, lazy bastard. I set a waypoint for a playcart deep into the fairgrounds, as I'll then be able to claim a medical centre nearby as an outpost. Before I leave, I craft some firecrackers with my workshop, so at least now I have a reliable source of ignition for my bloater gas, even if it's rather loud. So after a quick refuel and repair, we make our way there. Oh damn, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. In my slightly fatigued state, I am forced to do a bit of crowd control before I can have some personal time with the playcart, but with them dealt with, I head in and initiate part 1 of my plan. It's my plan. Phase, firecracker, bloater cloud. But every plan has its Achilles heel. Oh god, nope. So my knackered ass is forced to retreat back to the roof of my pickup, where I put more buckshot into crackheads. But that was significantly louder than the firecracker plan, so it's time to get a bloody move on. Thankfully it's only a few more hits from phasing, but then it's time to dip to avoid that gas cloud. Meanwhile, my fatigue is back into the critical levels. Well, the bloater popped, but nowhere where I wanted it. Oh, right next to the car. Of all the inappropriate places for it to pop. Anyway, I managed to drop the firecrackers, quickly followed by the bloater gas. But I made a mistake in dropping the crackers first, as that did a little bit of damage to the heart, meaning the following explosion did next to nothing. And as I've got no stamina items, we're really in a bad way. A second gas cloud does explode from a second set of firecrackers, and gratefully that does complete the second phase. I also finish off the heart with my assault rifle from the roof of the pickup, but that was so much closer than it needed to be. We're gonna have to seriously pull a finger out of our arse if we want to finish this successfully. I then head to Baxter's Dentistry, making it an outpost, and thankfully I managed to loot the place in its entirety before the hordes burst through the door, but then it's time to head back to drop off all of my loot. Although I can't turn down the opportunity to loot a petrol station as there's no one around, and I need fuel resources to make more bloater grenades. Then while I'm on my way back, a medical trader spawns in a nearby warehouse, and I take this opportunity to get 3 medical rucksacks. So by the time we arrive back to base, we may be battered more than a 50s housewife, but that excursion made us resource rich. Then sticking with Hunty Boy to allow Fiddler a lie in, I agreed to give some fuel to the Good Samaritans. We are already pretty good friends, but by giving them this fuel, we'll become BFFs and I'll be able to recruit one of them for free. And we already know exactly who we'll be recruiting. Mrs. 3-star Cardio. So I give Lara the fuel, then ask her if she wants to join the team. She obviously says yes, because why wouldn't you want to join a group of degenerates where one of your team is literally named Molester? Her negative trait is Couch Potato, something we know all too well. I'll also be adding a second negative trait on her later, but for now it's time to pay another visit to our friend Ray Santos. He's like, alright, but how's it going? You were such a massive help earlier, I was wondering if you'd mind helping me clear the church I used to visit. I'm like, aye, no worries, bud. Back in the back you go. And I know what you're thinking, Jay, you fucking moron, you're nearly out of fuel and completely out of oxygen. Don't worry about that, boys, I have a plan for every eventuality. But for now, I rock up to the church just as we completely run out of fuel. I can then climb up onto the pickup and allow the terminal cancer patient to do all the hard work. And while you might be thinking, what an evil prick, which you're not wrong for thinking, by the way, but this is actually a demonstration of survival of the fittest. Why would I risk a perfectly fit man while Ray is literally a walking time bomb? It might seem harsh, but Ray does eventually kill the last of the undead. Well, not technically. I am here to help after all. He then has a really sad 5 minutes of reminiscing about his dead friends. Yeah, it's really bad, bro, really bad. But gratefully after that, I can use him as a walking in Halford. Breaking open the fuel resource means I can top up the car with petrol, and after that we can make our way home to take over as our newbie Lara. But not before animal fact number 7. Did you know octopuses can squeeze through holes as small as the human anus? Whoever discovered that should be locked up for a long bloody time, let me tell you. Anyway, we get back and swap to Lara. Who's busy sweeping? Well, aren't we ones for knocking down gender stereotypes? She's also developed a pretty serious case of hypochondria. I guess that's just what happens when you spend the smallest amount of time with Fiddler. And seeing as Lara's the newbie, she's got to earn her stripes by taking on a play cart. So we once again head back to the fairgrounds to take the final heart out in that area. Although admittedly it's a bit of a maze to find the building it's hosting in. But armed with a heavy shovel and high on ketamine, Lara charges into the belly of the beast. As a newbie to the team, she's not allowed any bloater gas, so she's doing shit the old-fashioned way. And thanks to an impressive amount of dodging, she manages to complete the first phase, and then tosses a molly over her shoulder as she escapes. As you can imagine, that helps to thin out the knobheads around her, but unfortunately that doesn't prevent her from being bit, and that is a pretty full infection bar. But hey, I'm sure she'll be fine. She's one speedy girl, just gotta keep on your toes. I think I hear feral. I do hear feral. Great. And that's just another reason why you should always carry plague cures in lethal zone. Plenty of the fuckers, ideally. Anyway, I put more lead in yet another crackhead before heading back into the belly of the beast to complete the second phase. And in a shocking turn of events that have never been witnessed before, I cause massive damage to myself as I toss a molly over my shoulder. Oh my god, that's a lot of them. That's a lot of them, and I'm out of mollies now. But Lara doesn't need any mollies, just a shovel and a dream. And with that, Lara's been accepted into the how the bloody hell are these lots still alive. She might be our first recruit, but I'm sure she won't be our last. Long live Lara, and long live these terrible motherfuckers. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Remember, 500 likes and I'll get episode 3 of this series up as my next video.